Hi and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we'll be drawing these fun watermelon slices using gouache. Watermelon is one of my favorite fruits to have during summer. So we're going to now draw the slices and paint them. This is my entire setup and we are now going to use a 300 GSM watercolor sheet to draw this out. I'm currently using a cold pressed sheet. You can always use a hot pressed one for gouache, so it'll give a really smooth finish. I'm going to use it today in the form of watercolors, almost like watercolors, which is why I don't mind using this cold pressed sheet. It's time to start painting the background. So what I'm doing right now is mixing a little bit of blue and a little bit of white together and adding quite a bit of water. So you can see how the consistency of the paint is. It is quite watery. I want it to be a very translucent layer and I'm going to paint the entire background with this. I'm using a round brush. I find this really good and easy to use for gouache and watercolor mediums. But if you're comfortable with a flat brush, please go ahead and do that. Creating a composition sometimes becomes very complicated in our mind. We keep thinking, what are we supposed to do? How do we create a composition? Is it looking good, not looking good? What should be the base? So one easy trick to do that is to take any object and then repeat it so it'll create a pattern, and then you can just change the direction of each of these pieces. Like how I've done over here, there are three slices of watermelon and each of them face a slightly different direction, and that becomes a very interesting composition for us to create. My palette is the most beautiful part of my day when I'm painting because I love the colors which are part of it. It is such a delight to watch all of these colors, and then painting is just, I think, a side thing when it comes to it. So the first thing that I'm doing to paint my slices of watermelon is to take green and then just paint on the bottom part of it. So you will notice over here that it's not very opaque. So sometimes this does tend to happen depending on how much of pigment is there inside your particular color. So in this case, it's less pigment, which is why it is slightly translucent. So what you can do to avoid this issue, in case you're not very comfortable with such a translucency which is seen, is you wait for the first layer to dry and then apply another layer on top of it. So this third watermelon slice which I'm creating is much thinner in terms of the consistency compared to the other two, which is why you can see that has a nice texture like the background. So you can choose the style that you like and then go about it. It's now time to paint the watermelon side of it, which is the juicy red part. So I'm going to paint that. I'm leaving a little bit of white space towards the bottom, so there'll be like this area between your watermelon and the skin of it, which is white, so you can leave it this way. Another way to do that is you can just add some of the red on the top and then use water and drag the color down, and it will become a little lighter. So that is a style you will use when you're doing watercolors, which is why I'm kind of avoiding it because I'm using a more flatter style of watercolors. It's now time to add in the seeds, so I'm going to use black paints to add in the seeds onto watermelon. Personally, I'm pretty comfortable drawing these seeds with the brush directly and then painting inside them, but if you're not, feel free to use either a pigment liner to create all of these seeds, or you could also use a color pencil or a pencil to create these marks, draw on top, and then use your paints to fill in. So this is what my final composition looks like after it's been painted using gouache. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial, and I will see you soon for the next one. Thank you.